Good evening, everyone. My name is Marissa James, and I serve as the Assistant Director of the Ladonia Wright Cultural Center. On behalf of the Ladonia Wright Cultural Center and the Office for Equity and Diversity, we would like to welcome you to our annual Latinx Heritage Month celebration featuring guest speaker Martin Maurer. If you have any questions during the presentation, please post them in the chat and they will be answered during the Q&A session. Please note that this event is being recorded. Please join me in welcoming Astrid, who will introduce our guest speaker.
Thank you. Welcome and thank you for being here. Our speaker for today is Martin Maurer. He was born and raised in New York City. He is married to his wife, Cara, for 23 years. They have two sons and one grandson. Martin has lived in North Carolina for the past 25 years. He is an alumnus of Pitt Community College. While Martin was at Pitt Community College, he was a recipient of the Academy Excellence Award and also received the Presidential Scholarship. He also was nominated and inducted into the National Society of Leadership and Success as a distinguished leader. He holds an associate degree in applied science and human services with a concentration on substance abuse. He also holds numerous North Carolina state certification in the field of substance abuse. He is currently employed at Deacon Jones Auto Group as a sales consultant. Martin is also the president and CEO of an up-and-coming startup company, Maurer's Minute Mechanic Inc., which he started just a little over a year ago. Working closely with his team, ECU, SBTDC, and the Miller School of Entrepreneurship, the company is moving forward at a fast pace with a goal of having up to 50 working machines in place by the end of this year. The company placed second in the 2019 North Carolina Regional Small Business Pitch Competition. Martin was also a guest judge at the 2019 Pirate Entrepreneurship Challenge.
Thank you very much, Astrid, for that great introduction. I really appreciate that. Um, I do want to thank each of you, first and foremost, for giving me the platform to be able to speak on my culture and also just open up a conversation to people. Um, so, where do Puerto Ricans come from? We actually derive from Taino and Arawak, Native Americans, Spaniard, and African roots, which makes us a mixture of many cultures, food, and dance. Now, I could sit here for the next 30 minutes and tell you all about some interesting facts about Puerto Rico, like Puerto Rico has the most Miss Universe wins with 5 crowns. Puerto Rico is an island that is 108 miles long and about 40 miles wide. Puerto Rico has some of the biggest pineapple and sugar plantations in the world. Um, Puerto Rico is a territory of the U.S., but yet you could still have dual citizenship. A lot of people don't know that it's because it's in like a political limbo as a territory, not a state or a sovereign nation. Um, I could also tell you about a law, public law number 53, also known as the God Law. In 1948, it was illegal to possess a Puerto Rican flag. You could be imprisoned up to 10 years. You could not say, sing, hum, speak anything against the United States, or you will face a 10-year penalty. It was also a felony to possess a Puerto Rican flag. Thankfully, that law was repealed in 1957, and the U.S. Is in charge of Puerto Rico as a territory. That said, I could talk about these facts and more, or I could tell you how I was born in Spanish Harlem, Martin Raul Alvarez. A lot of people don't know that I was adopted. That's how my last name is Maurer. I was actually adopted by a Puerto Rican woman and a Jewish man. Um, my uh, my ancestry comes from my mother. I know for a fact that My mother was Puerto Rican, and so was my grandfather. And this is how I know of my Puerto Rican origin. I'm here to speak to you guys today just to talk about some of the issues that Hispanics face, Latins in general, in everyday walks of life. There are some benefits to being Latino, of course. You can say you're bilingual. There's certain places that you can go that other people can't. But I'll just tell you about a couple of situations that I've been in. There were times where I filled out job applications, and because of my name, when I showed up, they were expecting. Maurer is actually of German and European descent. They were expecting someone else, and when I got there, they still interviewed me, and I actually got the job. But they literally told me we thought it was going to be someone else, and I was just taken aback. And this happened in New York. There were being raised in Spanish Harlem um, was kind of a challenge. We lived in an interracial household, and at that time, that was Spanish Harlem wasn't as diverse as it is now. I grew up in a time of a lot of folks don't know about the Young Lords. They were actually a gang but they started school lunches. They started a school lunch program. I actually went to the center where they kind of took over for 11 days and started a school lunch program. And growing up in that household was very interesting. I'm going to show you guys a picture of my adopted dad so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. This is Herbert Maurer. And he raised me and gave me his name up until about the age of 15. About the age of 8, I moved to a place in New York called Yorkville. Now, Yorkville is in between uptown and downtown. It was its own little place. It still is to this day. When we moved there, Yorkville was predominantly Irish. So it was a little uncomfortable for both parties at first. But to this day, I would call any one of them my brothers and sisters. We learned to get along, and we got along, and we fought, and we argued, and we got along like brothers and sisters. But that took some doing. See, my sister looked more like my adopted dad. So it was like we almost rolled in two different circles. But as I said, to this day, I would call any one of them my brothers and sisters. And this is why I'm kind of doing this message. I've never really talked about that in public, but I want people to know that no matter where you come from, what your background is, how you look, how much money you have or don't have, we should all try to spread love, especially now in this climate. Um, a lot of people think that Puerto Rico is separate from the United States. I've had people come up to me and say things like, how did you and your family feel when you migrated here from Puerto Rico? And I'm like, what? Or do you have a green card? Things like this. And I have to emphasize, I work with a lot of Latinos on a daily basis. And I am an American, so I can move in certain circles that they cannot. And it's unfortunate. A lot of people that I talk to are very hard workers. They just want to do better for themselves and their family, just like anyone else would. The culture of Puerto Ricans is that they say we have a lot of pride. They say that, all of us have a flag either with us, tattooed on us, or in our car. And that was because of that Law 53. Given this platform, I would like to say that even though we all may look different, we still share a common goal and a common race. We're the human race. And, with that said, there's times where I started a business not too long ago, like you heard a year and a half ago. And I walked into certain rooms and it almost felt as if I wasn't supposed to be there. Now, that might have been by my own doing, but thankfully, there were people that didn't necessarily look like me that put out their hand, extended it, opened doors for me, and has propelled my company 3 to 5 years easily, where I wouldn't have been able to do that by myself. They didn't see color. They didn't see language barriers. They didn't see anything. What they saw was a man's character. And that's what I saw within them. And we have a trust now that it's a bond that you cannot break. And I feel that once I get where I'm supposed to be, I need to turn around, extend my hand, and pull others up as well. The struggle out here for minority businesses is now being looked upon. A light is being shined upon it. And, it really makes me happy to see people all coming together. As I said, Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. When you're born in Puerto Rico, you're born with a social security number. You're an American citizen, and you can come to and from the mainland freely. Um, that said, I'd like to get back a little to growing up. One of the first things that I experienced was trying to learn how to spell my new last name, which was Maurer. Um, I wrote Alvarez up until I was about 8 or 9 years old. So going back to having to write Maurer, it almost felt strange. There were sometimes I actually wrote Alvarez Maurer or Martin Raul Alvarez Maurer, and it made it look like I had this long name. But a lot of people didn't even know my name was Raul, my middle name, and that's after my grandfather. Uh, Again, like I was saying, that ECU has been really good to me and my company. We just went on to say that when these kind of platforms are given to folks, we have to speak out and also make it known that, you know, the community here, the business community here is great. It's very helpful. Um, I, in myself, believe that the American dream still exists because to me, like mathematics is the international language, so is hard work. I believe that with hard work and determination, hard work could only be overlooked for so long. Once you've really put the work in, people will see it. And, people help those who are trying to help themselves. I really feel that sometimes Puerto Rico's overlooked. It's had its struggles and its diversities, but as American citizens, America is strong, and so are Puerto Ricans. Um, there were certain times where I personally almost felt like I was a second-class citizen, but yet I was in rooms with people that were millionaires and own businesses, and I always wanted to be that way. And now sitting in these circles, being accepted, being helped, and also being mentored and guided, I really feel blessed to have this opportunity. Some of the things that, as I said, some of the myths and misunderstandings about Puerto Rico is the citizenship and also the fact that most Puerto Ricans speak perfect English. I've had that happen to me before too. I was in a car accident, and my wife, who's blonde hair, green eyed, Southern woman, was asked, "Do I speak English and do I work for her?" I was just like, "Wow!" And I'm sitting right there. So again, as I said, I can empathize with my Latino brothers and sisters. Um, but as I said, things are becoming more in the light, more accepting, and people are so helpful. I really appreciate all the opportunities that I've been granted. And as I said, I believe if you work hard enough and you persevere and have a dream, things can happen for you that, you know, are afforded to you just because you're an American citizen. I'm also a first generation college student, college graduate. And although my family owned businesses, there was a Maurer House of Sporting Goods. Um, that entrepreneurial spirit has always been in me. And now, thankfully, it's able to be, coming to fruition, which brings me to a bit of good news about my company. I know I'm kind of all over the place, guys, and I apologize. Um, but Maurer Minute Mechanic has developed a machine, Your Minute Mechanic, And the first machine will be on the ground within 3 weeks, and it will be at Pirates Cove Car Wash. Chris Tyndale was a year and a half ago. I went to Chris and I said, "Look, I have this thing." It was a piece of paper and a drawing. I said, "It's a machine." I explained to him what it did. And I said, "When it's built, would you let me put one on your property?" He has a chain of Haviline stations and car washes. And he said, "Sure, I would, Martin." And a year and a half later, I met with him today, and true to his word, he's allowing me to do that. And we already are making plans for other machines in other locations. So in case anybody was wondering what that is behind me, that was tape that we put on the wall to represent the machine's height, um, how we thought it would look. And I thought that that was a great a great way to try to judge how tall it would be and that type of thing. And there it stands a year and a half later. Um, so it's just been a blessing. As I mentioned, being mentored by a lot of distinguished people, it was very helpful. Um, in terms of getting back to the Hispanic Heritage Month, it actually falls in between these months because there's some significant dates in between the 15th and the 15th of October. There's the Spanish American War, how things were done. We actually were acquired during that by America. Um, there is a lot of families that are still in distress by some of the natural disasters that have hit Puerto Rico. And, help is arriving every day. And, you know, um, you have people that are really stepping up and helping. And sometimes a lot of that stuff is not on the news unless you have family in Puerto Rico that can tell you what is going on. Um, also, one of the things I wanted to tell you about the machine, the name of our, again, I apologize guys, I'm all over the place. I still work 12 hours a day, although we started the company. Maurer Minute Incorporated is the name of the company. That machine, which is the kiosk, is Your Minute Mechanic. So when you start hearing about Your Minute Mechanic, it is the actual machine from the company, Maurer Minute Mechanic. But I just want to say that a lot of people have asked me in different ways, how was it growing up in New York City? And I can tell you that it was a rough going. I didn't think that I would be where I'm at right now today. If someone told me many years ago that I would be doing all the great things that I'm doing right now, and I give it all to God, I would say that wasn't possible. And the reason why I say that is because when when you grow up in a neighborhood like mine, although we all loved each other, there were still problems with other neighborhoods and that kind of thing. Um, but we always stood for each other, like I said, like brothers and sisters. I walked out of my house at 15 years old and never turned back. So needless to say, all the things that I've seen up to now and the things that I had to go through. And, you know, without the education that I have now, without the people that I have as mentors and folks to help me out, I don't think I'd be where I'm at. And again, I just wanted to thank everyone who has been involved in that. The growing up Hispanic, I look the way I look now, and I always tell people, one, don't write somebody off, and two, do not judge a book by its cover. It's all about mindset. I told myself, enough is enough. It's time to do something with yourself. No excuses. Don't make excuses, make a way. And with the help of others, it all worked out. Again, I'd like to thank ECU, the Small Business Center, the Middle School Entrepreneurship, David Mayo, John Sienna Mayo, Ryan Butcher, Alan Trueblood. The list goes on to where we're at today. I will talk a little bit about my machine. Maurer's Minute Mechanic is a standalone self-diagnostic machine. What it does is you pull up to it if you have a check engine light on, or any light for that matter. You plug up your car, and for $10, it'll Bluetooth, email, or text message you what's wrong with your vehicle. And I think that that's something that's necessary. I think it's something that could propel to create jobs, which, I'm really proud of. We do want to try to have at least 50 machines on the ground by the end of the year, which is a pretty big goal, but I have a tough team and I think we can do it. No, I know we can do it. We've had a lot of success. It'll be available in English and Spanish as well, which helps. Again, see, that's where it would be handy for me, being bilingual, to go into certain neighborhoods and offer my services and this product. And, I just feel that anytime people work with each other and help each other, light hands, more hands make light work. And I just really am thankful for where I'm at in the position that I'm at right now. Not only as a company, but just in life, period. And as I said, it is my duty to turn around and help others. One of the first mentors I had came up to me and said, I'm going to help you with this. And he continued to help me. And at one point, I was a little nervous because I was like, okay, this gentleman is a successful businessman. No, let me say it the way I'm going to say it. This is a white, successful businessman. What does he want from me? I don't have anything to give him. I always thought there was a catch or something. He turned around and he looked at me. He said, Martin, one day, he said, I just want you to promise me one thing. And I'm like, what's that? He said, shake my hand. I shook his hand. He said, one day you're going to be standing where I'm standing, and it'll be your turn to give back to someone. And that's all I want from you. And my jaw dropped. I mean, and I shook his hand, and he's been on my team, and he's been my business advisor ever since. Kind of chokes me up a little, but like I said, you just never know who's going to step up and help you, regardless of where you come from or who you are. That's about all I got, guys. Take any more of your time. Again, I just thank you so much for allowing me to speak, for allowing me to tell you a little bit about my culture and my company. And if anyone has any questions, I'm open to them.
Yeah, let's open it up to questions, and you can type in the questions in the chat box. Marcus has a question. Who was your inspiration growing up?
That's actually a very good question. Even though I was only in my household till I was 15 years old, my dad, being the man who raised me, an entrepreneur, was my inspiration. He's the one who taught me how to shake a man's hand and look him in the eye. He was the one that taught me how to shave. He was the one who taught me how to walk, always hold my head up, keep my chest out. And through him, I heard about Warren Buffett, and I started to study Warren Buffett. And I would say, believe it or not, Warren Buffett was one of my biggest inspirations. And also LL Cool J. Now, I know that sounds funny, but LL Cool J was a very intelligent businessman. Just a real quick story to show you where he came from. And he actually helped me, unknowingly, of course, do what I did in the beginning. Back then, that was the 80s. There was no internet. There was no way for you to contact people like we can now, emailing and just Facebook, chatting, direct message. What he did was he went into a record store and turned around every record and CD that he could find and wrote down the producers' names and addresses and mailed them all a copy of his demo tape. And the Beastie Boys picked him up. You never know who's going to do what. So I started shooting out DMs and emails and messengers and everything when I first started this company, and Speedway actually answered me back. So it gave me encouragement to move forward. But I kind of took a playbook from him, a page of the playbook.
We have a comment from Yoshi Newman, and she says she's so glad that you didn't apologize for getting choked up and showing us how you felt. And I want to echo that, because vulnerability is so powerful. How much your mentors and your allies have impacted your life. And I just think that's an amazing testimony that you want to give back because of how they impacted you so strongly.
I tell them on a daily basis when we meet and stuff that they just don't have any idea what they've done for me and my family. And through this, my sons actually have come up with ideas and stuff. So this is going to be generational. No matter what happens, it has changed the course of my life, and I believe my family's life forever.
All right, we have another question. This person says, the machine that you are working on sounds amazing and so life-changing. Where exactly do you intend to focus these machines in the community?
Okay, that's an awesome question, and I really appreciate you asking that. What we plan to do is we're going to develop locally, stay right here and get strong in Pitt County, build a good foundation. And then we plan to go regional in North Carolina and then hopefully nationwide. That is the plan. I would love to put these at rest stops, which I've actually sent a packet to a senator and waiting for a reply. The team that I have is incredible. The reach that they have is incredible. Once this machine is on the ground, we plan to go, to some of these giants like Speedway, Sheets, and like I said, rest stops, car washes, Happeline, and us are working together. This gentleman has a chain of Hapelines, and we're going to do that. And I think that's amazing. What I thought would be competition or enemy or whatever you want to say actually turns out to be an ally. It's going to help push us forward as well. And that's awesome. We're going to work together on this. It's going to help people. And of course, any company that's in business is in business to make money, but we plan to help the community a lot as well. I was given a second chance, and we want to help give others a second chance. A couple of our guys are veterans. We want to look out for our veterans as well. My son is serving in the military. So we plan to do a lot for the community as much as we can. And, just like myself, made in America with Puerto Rican parts, we're going to make this in America with some parts from different places, but we're going to actually do the work here.
This question is related to what you were saying about helping out. The question is, what role have women had in your life? You talked about men as part of your success. Small business has been and is dominated by men, and women have to work harder at everything. So what opportunities will you be providing for Hispanic and Latin women?
Okay. First of all, I'm going to need some good sales reps, and you guys do hustle. You get it out there. And I gotta, say something that I didn't say during my speech. So I really thank you for that question, giving me the opportunity to say this. If it wasn't for my wife, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd either be dead, dying, or in jail. And that's just keeping it real. 23 years deep, my ride or die stayed with me. My father, on his deathbed, told me, if you stay with this one, you'll do something with your life. So, as I said, she's a hustler. She gets out there, does her thing. A lot of women that are bilingual. As soon as this company's up and running, I will be putting out ads. You guys will just know when it's time for me to start reaching back and grabbing folks and having them come up and help us out, because the bilingual aspect of it is going to be strong. And like I said, just by the sheer fact that we speak Spanish, they gotta let us in the door. So we'll get in there and do our thing, but that's definitely on my list. I mean, I believe that this is going to create anywhere from 200 to 300 jobs within a year or two, because there's going to be a lot of work to do, a lot of sales, people going out having to maintenance the machines. I mean, just so many avenues. Advertising, the machine will have a way for people to advertise on it. So we have to get the word out and have people be able to advertise on it. Somebody gets their car diagnostic done, there'll be a way for them to print out a coupon and use a local mom and pop, place to help out, the closest place that'll tell you where it's at and that type of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of avenues that I'll be needing a lot of help from a lot of people. So, mi gente.
I think several people in here will be interested in this question. What's some advice you would give a young entrepreneur?
Wow. Okay, so there's a discrepancy with this with one of my mentors, because he called me a veteran entrepreneur, because I have been through a lot of rejection. Anytime you start a business or you have a new idea that's different, a lot of people are going to tell you, it's not going to work, or it's going to cost too much money or whatever. But I was literally given this as a vision, and I'll tell anybody that. They could grill me 100 times. God gave me this as a vision, and somebody told me nothing could stop a God idea. If he gives you a mission, he's going to give you the way to get it. That said, one person said something to me that stands out, and I still have yet to tell them what they told me really impacted me. He just put his hand on my shoulder. He looked right at me. He said, block out all the noise that's getting ready to happen. That was after we took second place in the competition. He said, because there's going to be a lot of noise. I tell people, you can get 10,000 no's, but the one yes I got turned my whole life and my whole company around. And it was to a point where I sunk everything I had into this. My 401k, my savings. She wouldn't let me touch the property or anything. She drew the line. She said, look, we have to have somewhere to live if this doesn't go right. So at one point in time, I was a little worried, but I just put my head down and said, you know what? I put myself here. I'm just going to go for it. And I made a way, not excuses. I knocked on doors that I didn't think I could get into, and people welcomed me with open arms. I mean, people did things for me for absolutely nothing. They just wanted to do it to help me. I mean, so you just never know where your help's going to come from. Just if you have a passion for it, just keep going. It may look like it's bleak, and then all of a sudden something happens and it just works out for you. So hard work, perseverance, and confidence in yourself. Just even me doing something like this years and years ago would have racked my nerves, but it's like right now I'm trying to get the word out to let people know that this exists. Even though this is a platform for us to speak, we're still giving advice to people. We want, like I said, if somebody would have told me years ago that this would be happening, I would have doubted that word. But it's a light bulb, and you run and you just keep running until you get there. You'll get there. I mean, but what I meant by the discrepancy is I'm 52 years old, so I've only been in business for myself for a year and a half or so. But because of all of what I went through, he calls me a veteran, and I still don't accept that title, because I feel like after the many years they have, I just sit there and I bow down to their 50, 30, 40, 20 years experience, 10 years experience, and the advice you can get from people that know what they're talking about. Listen to them. I mean, they may tell you to do something that doesn't sound right. One of my mentors told me, you're going to feel the pain. You need to feel that pain, so when you get there, you'll understand it. And I thought, not me, I'm going to duck that. I got a great idea. Oh, no. I felt the pain. And feeling that pain, it makes me appreciate this so much more. And so I'm glad I did. I hope that answered your question.
That's great advice for everyone in general.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Well, thank you guys.
Helen, first, thanks you for sharing your story. And the question is about your minute mechanic. If a customer gets a diagnosis from the machine, are there partner auto repair shops that they are referred to?
And that's where my sales consultants come in. We're actually working on having that happen. We're trying to see what the demographics of our area is where we're putting the machine. I have to say my team was very, they researched on top of research. I see why they're successful. I'll put it to you that way. And so, yes, first and foremost, of course, Chris will get, advertising, and he has his Havilines, and we're going to work closely with him as he is helping us in the beginning. But as we move forward, there'll be tow trucks may be necessary. We're looking at other businesses and other avenues to help people be a part of this. We want everybody to be a part of this because, as I said, it's there to help people. And in the interim of it, if we can help other businesses, so be it. That's what we want to do. Small businesses helping small businesses. That is the Greenville community. I mean, like, and I can truly attest to that from my own personal experience. So yeah.
We have a question from, I'm not sure if it's Jaime or Jamie Palacios. Do you have any advice for other first-gen college students?
Okay, so my son this is a funny story. When my son decided that he didn't want to go to school, he comes to me and my wife at 17 and he says, "Hey guys, I got to talk to you. It's very important. Sit down." I'm thinking, oh my goodness. To this day, she won't admit it, but we were all both thinking, who's pregnant? Just saying, I'm keeping it real. He said, "I want to join the military. I want to serve our country." I was like, "What?" I said, "Well, I'm proud of you, son." She jumps up, "Absolutely not." It's like, what? We were at war at the time. But that said, when he was leaving, I shook his hand. He grabbed me and he hugged me. He goes, "Hey, Pops, you go to school and I'll go to the military. You get a degree and I'll get rank." And I was trying to snatch my hand away, but I couldn't. And so I have a degree and he is a staff sergeant. That said, as a first generation college student, I just advise people to get an education. And I'll tell you why. Not just solely for the education of the piece of paper, because honestly, I could do what I'm doing with the GED because it's mostly my team, the people that I'm meeting, they're helping me, and just, the personality of a sales consultant or whatever have you. But the people that you would meet, the people that you could network with, I don't think that I would have ever met any of them in any other way except for going to school. And that to me, I feel is worth every dime and everything. And then the accomplishments of it after you're done, it's like you have something that no one can ever take away from you. I don't care where you go, what you do, you'll always be a college graduate. And there'll be people that are watching you. You may not know it because I've had people send me letters and stuff, and I'm sitting there going, what? Emails saying, hey, I saw that you did this or that. And when I say letters, there'll be people that'll write me. I do prison ministry, and I also speak to prisoners sometimes. And they will literally write me letters. I'm sitting there going, wow, that's a big deal for somebody to sit down and say, hey, you impacted me in some type of way. Your little cousin could be looking at you right now saying, you know what, I want to graduate as well. You never know who you're influencing.
I'm on mute. Okay, Toya Jacobs from the Office for Equity and Diversity says that she loves the side-by-side picture. And the second part is that generational wealth is more than just dollars. She said, thank you for sewing into your family. I ask that you share how we, as people of color, can do more in our families and communities.
First of all, as men, we have to step up and take care of our children. And that's first and foremost, and in doing so, we're raising men to raise other men and women. And I'm not saying that other people were, but at one point in my life, I wasn't the man that you see in front of me. But I knew by looking at them that if I didn't change, they wouldn't have a chance. So I changed it all around. As people of color, we have to help each other out as well. Um, if we have a business and we have a way to help someone get a job or donate or sow into their company as well, it can't be, I got mine, you go get yours. There's a lot of that in our community, and it's sad, and I see it. It's actually happened to me. And these are people that I've known for many years that wouldn't even respond to my email. Yet I have people that have never laid eyes on me putting big amounts of money into my company. I'll just put it that way, so that I can move forward. And generational wealth, as you mentioned, is not just money. The generational wealth is you're teaching your children how to make money, what money is, what money's about. A lot of people have a misconception that, don't get me wrong, I like nice things, but I also know that comes with a price. You have to work hard and get that money first. And a lot of people think this all just pops up, and it doesn't. It's over years and years of time and hard work. And I feel that as people of color, as I mentioned, we need to turn around, stick our hand out, and pull up other folks with us, because we were blessed enough to get in that room. Like they said, if there's not a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. I'm getting in there one way or the other. So if I can do it, I'm going to bring other people with me. And like I said, it starts with the children, because if we teach them, they'll teach theirs, and so on and so on. And there goes that generational wealth. I got to say this, and I'm not trying to brag or anything, but my son's 27 years old, and he just closed on a $200-something thousand house in Texas. It's awesome. I couldn't see that. At 20, if somebody would have told me, but I got to give that to my wife. She sat him down and she taught him about money. She taught him about credit. She taught him to guard your credit with your life, and so he walked in there ready to get and do whatever he wanted. And he says that too. He's like, Pops, you taught me a little about money, but she taught me about money. So yeah, it was, I believe that that's where we need to start with the children and how to handle money. And if I'm not mistaken, I heard that ECU is doing a class now about money, like economics and credit and that type of deal. So I commend you guys on that as well, because there's a lot of people that graduate from school, they get out in the job market, they offer credit cards and they have a stack of them, and then they run up debt. And then you have your school debt, you have that debt, and you start off in a bad place. But yeah, I hope that answered your question.
I need to take that class. It sounds good. Do we have any other questions? Wait and see if anybody types anything. Ryan, what are you most looking forward to for the future, regarding your business or your family or anything like that?
And I know this is going to sound corny, but just helping others, because I want everybody to feel the way I feel right now. If I could bottle this up and give it to people, it would be like my greatest joy, because it was like, I was in a bad place in my life, and I never thought that anything like this would happen for me. I didn't think that I belonged. From the lineage that I came from and growing up around the people I grew up with, that was just my life, period. And I'm talking before Yorkville, I'm talking about Spanish Harlem. Like, I literally had real gangsters running in and out of my house, not like, and so, and they raised me. I mean, so I thought this is where I belong. I'm okay here. That's it. I never thought in a million years that I could do what I'm doing now, that I was as smart as I was. That surprised me. Getting in school and testing all of that out, and it made me want to achieve more. And so I would love to be able to create my company in a way that I can help others interns and pay them, because I was a free intern and I didn't like that. So I would like to be able to hire interns, pay them, and let them walk around and experience the whole thing, and see whether or not it's for them. I mean, you can rule it in or rule it out, but at least you be getting paid while you're doing it. So yeah, I just want to, like I said, and of course the money's a plus. You know, if that comes, it comes. But you know, I always know that I'll have enough to live at least where I'm at now, which is I'm comfortable. We eat well, we have nice things. I'm cool with that. But if that next level comes, I would love to be there. But if I can help others get there with me and just have this good, confident feeling, you know, that you just know that you're blessed. I mean, you just know that you're going to be okay. That is what I would love to see for the future, especially young, underprivileged children that don't get to see that. Like they don't get to see college, or like the other gentleman was saying, first generation college students, and you know, just yeah, let them see that people that look like them can be in a position of leadership and do things the right way and still get that money and those cars and everything else that they see. And a lot of you know, I hope I'm not getting off subject here, but a lot of these rappers that they want to emulate have degrees. They have degrees in business, and they actually took that and flipped them into what they are now. 2 Chainz actually graduated magna cum laude. I mean, so, and he has a business degree and a degree in psychology, and so does Lil Wayne and a few others that you would never believe. And I was like, what? While I was doing this research. So get your education, then flip it to whatever you want to do. But you got that education, you know.
Ralph has a fun question. What is your favorite food?
My favorite
Food.
food.
Yeah.
What is my favorite food now? I love to eat. I eat 6 times a day. So, but if I had to pick one, I'd say pizza. I know that's weird, but I love pizza. But well, penne, that is a Spanish Puerto Rican dish that um, it's a pork, and it's made in a certain way. And you would be surprised that my mother, God rest her soul, before she passed, my adopted mother, came here and ate Cara's penne. And for an older Puerto Rican woman to say it's better than mine, that is like a high compliment. And I don't know how she does it. I think she was a Puerto Rican woman at one point in time. It's just she's reincarnated an old Puerto Rican lady or something. But she can cook the best dishes. My sister comes over, my brother-in-law and stuff, and they're just like, "How do you know how to cook this stuff?" And I'm like, "I don't know. She just does." So, but yeah, penne and pizza.
Oh, um, okay. We have one. I think we have time for one. Yes, time for one more question. There are a lot of stigmas within the Latinx community about what makes a person Latino or Latinx. What does it mean to you to be Latino?
For me, beforehand, and I'm just going to speak freely here, we have a lot of machismo. We have a lot of pride. We have a lot of, you know, just like when I got choked up a little, that would have never happened before. I would have had toothpicks in my eyes going, yeah, they're just sweating, or my allergies are acting up. But, you know, to me, to be Latin is to be strong. You know, we have been through a lot of diversity. We have been through a lot. Um, but I'm always going to keep my ancestors in my mind, because they went through a lot for me to be able to be where I'm at right now. And that goes for a lot of people of color. Actually, my name is Martin after Martin Luther King. I was born 3 weeks after he was assassinated. So that's how it was in my household. So I feel that all of us together in this, you know, being Latino, I just feel like, you know, take care of my family, be strong, work hard. And, you know, I do have an advantage by being bilingual, and I'm going to use that to my advantage. And, you know, but if I had to put it in one word, I would say strength, you know, character, integrity, whatever have you. I just feel like being Latino just encompasses all of that. in me from my ancestors. And yeah, because we derive from the Arawak Indians and the Taino Indians, which were peaceful people. I mean, so, but they were strong. And so, yeah.
Oh, Kaylin Aguayo had a comment. Yes, Penny, I love it.
Yeah, it's I can't believe that slipped my mind, because you know you're making a penny this week, right? But yeah, you guys have been awesome. Made me feel comfortable. I mean, even though I'm in the comfort of my own home, at first I was nervous. I was just like, "How what am I gonna do here?" But I thank you guys for that. And Meredith and Marissa, I really appreciate you guys working with me today, making sure all the tech was right. And I was like, I can't get in. I felt like an old dinosaur trying to try this link, try that link, you know. But it's awesome how ECU just does this, and you guys are really running a great program here. And I appreciate the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Martin, yeah, we so appreciate you for sharing your story and inspiring us. I especially loved hearing about the mentors in your life and how you plan to give back, and I can just see your heart. Also, that car wash that you said will have a unit mechanic in 3 weeks is 1/10 of a mile from my house.
Really?
So I will be visiting.
Awesome.
Yes. And so I'm excited. Oh, now y'all know where I live. But now I'm excited to
see how this direction. Do that. Like, which way is it that way?
Right. But I'm excited to see how this company is going to blow up. I mean, I think it's going to be huge. I hope so.
Thank you guys so much. I mean, it's awesome. And I remember, like I said, I walked in there with a piece of paper and said, "Hey, man, I got this idea." He was like, "When you feel it, let me know." Walked in there today. He was like, "So what's up, man?" I was like, "You ready?" I was like, "Yeah, you ready? Let's go look." And we walked around, and it was awesome. I was just like, "Wow, that's a man of character, sticks to his word." He told me something, nothing in writing, just a handshake, and there we are. So yeah. But this is awesome. You guys are getting me pumped up when I saw I do something right now. It's like I gotta go finish building something there. But thank everybody for tuning in, and we really appreciate the support and the love. And when I get this recording, I'll be playing it over and over again, right?
All right. Well, thank y'all for attending our celebration of Latinx Heritage Month. We hope that you can attend the rest of our events for this semester. And Martin, I hope we'll be able to work together again.
Thank you. It sounds like a plan. Appreciate you guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Marissa, how do I make you a host again?
You just hover over my name and right click it.
Hold on. You keep moving around. Okay. Your name.
Or just right click my name under panelists.
Oh, okay. Change role. There we go.
Okay.